The 1960s were a defining decade for Westerns, where legendary heroes, brutal villains, and unforgettable standoffs reshaped the genre. Get ready to experience 15 Westerns that not only define the era, but still captivate audiences today. From epic showdowns to timeless stories, these films will keep you on the edge of your seat till the very end. 1. The Magnificent Seven, 1960. In a dusty Mexican village terrorized by ruthless bandits, hope comes in the form of seven strangers. Gunmen with nothing in common but a code of honor. They stand shoulder to shoulder as the horizon darkens with riders. Bullets fly, bodies fall, and dust swirls as seven men risk everything for a cause that isn't theirs. One unforgettable moment? When they choose to stay, knowing death is near. It's courage under fire, grit against greed. Sacrifice never looked so heroic. This isn't just a shootout, it's the birth of modern Western heroism. 2. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 1966. Gold buried in a cemetery. 3 gunslingers. One final standoff. The tension crackles like lightning in the dry desert air as eyes narrow, fingers twitch, and Ennio Morricone's iconic score climbs to a crescendo. Tuco, Blondie, and Angel Eyes aren't allies. They're predators circling the same prize. Every glance, every footstep, every silence before the gunfire. Cinema doesn't get more intense than this. Sergio Leone doesn't just direct a Western, he orchestrates a showdown that redefined film history. Who gets the gold? Who walks away? And who gets buried? You'll never forget the answer. 3. Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. A harmonica echoes across the desert wind as a lone man steps off the train, his past wrapped in mystery and revenge. Sergio Leone paints an operatic masterpiece with haunting silences, sweeping landscapes, and brutal gunplay. Henry Fonda, cast shockingly against type, chills to the bone as a child-murdering villain. Claudia Cardinale brings soul, power, and beauty to a tale drenched in blood. The opening scene, a wordless duel beneath a scorching sun, tells you everything you need to know. This isn't a typical Western, it's mythic, poetic, and utterly unforgettable. The Wild Bunch, 1969. Time is running out for Pike Bishop and his gang, aging outlaws in a world that no longer wants them, but they won't go quietly. Sam Peckinpah's groundbreaking Western explodes in a final act of slow-motion carnage that shook Hollywood to its core. The film opens with children watching scorpions being burned alive, an omen of the chaos to come. Loyalty is tested, blood spills like rain, and redemption is paid for in bullets. This isn't about glory, it's about going down swinging, a last stand so ferocious, it changed action cinema forever. 5. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. They rob banks, they charm everyone. They flee to Bolivia when the law gets too close. Butch and Sundance are outlaws with wit, swagger, and a bond that defies death. Paul Newman and Robert Redford are magnetic, tossing one-liners between gunfights. The final scene, surrounded, outgunned, yet refusing to surrender, is frozen in film legend. For a minute there, I thought we were in trouble, Butch jokes. Then the screen freezes, and we never see what happens next. But we know. It's stylish, tragic, and effortlessly cool, just like the men themselves. 6. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. A dusty coffin. A senator returns to a forgotten town. Everyone remembers the name Liberty Valance, but not the man who actually shot him. John Ford's film is a masterclass in myth-making, where the truth hides in shadows and legends shape history. James Stewart is the upright lawman who took the credit. John Wayne is the grizzled gunslinger who actually pulled the trigger. And Lee Marvin as Valance, a snarling, sadistic villain you'll love to hate. The film's final line, "When the legend becomes fact, print the legend," still echoes through the halls of Western cinema. 7. A Fistful of Dollars, 1964. A nameless stranger rides into a town torn by greed and violence, then turns the chaos into his own deadly game. Clint Eastwood's silent, cigar-chomping anti-hero plays two warring gangs against each other, walking a razor's edge between manipulation and massacre. He's beaten to a pulp, left for dead, and returns like a phantom with a score to settle. When he emerges from the smoke, poncho flapping, with a coffin maker on standby, you know death rides with him. Sergio Leone's gritty, dusty masterpiece sparked the spaghetti western craze and a new kind of cowboy icon. 8, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, Eastwood's Man with No Name is back, this time facing off with a rival bounty hunter just as deadly, Lee Van Cleef's steely-eyed Colonel Mortimer. Together they hunt El Indio, a sadistic outlaw haunted by a music box and a blood-soaked past. The final duel is unforgettable, a musical countdown to death where every note brings the trigger closer. Tension mounts, motives clash, and revenge burns deep. It's not just about the bounty, it's about justice, memory, and men defined by their scars. Brutal, stylish, and operatic, this sequel might be even better than the first. 9. El Dorado, 1966. John Wayne and Robert Mitchum light up the screen in this tale of loyalty, redemption, and last stands. Wayne plays a hired gun who returns to help an old friend, now a drunken sheriff, save his town from a greedy rancher's gang. What follows is a gritty fight for justice with wounded pride and wounded bodies alike. One scene stands out. Wayne, shot and half crippled, still manages to reload and fire with unshakable resolve. Friendship meets firepower in a showdown where dignity is earned at gunpoint. Director Howard Hawks blends humor, action, and heart into one classic ride. 10. Hang 'em High, 1968. He was left for dead, swinging from a noose on a barren tree. But he didn't die. Clint Eastwood's Jed Cooper survives a lynching and returns not as a victim, but as a U.S. Marshal hell-bent on justice. Each man on his list will pay, with law or lead. The film opens with a gut-wrenching execution and only tightens the noose from there. Cooper isn't interested in forgiveness. He wants them to feel what he felt: rope, rage, and raw vengeance. Set in a corrupt frontier dripping with moral ambiguity, this is justice Western style. Rough, relentless, and personal. 11. True Grit, 1969. When 14-year-old Maddie Ross seeks justice for her father's murder, she doesn't hire a hero. She hires Rooster Cogburn, a one-eyed, whiskey-soaked U.S. Marshal with a temper as sharp as his aim. Together, they ride into hostile territory, facing killers, snakes, and betrayal. But it's Cogburn's unforgettable charge, reins in his teeth, gun in each hand, roaring into enemy fire. That immortalized John Wayne and won him his only Oscar. It's more than vengeance. It's a tale of grit, guts, and grit again. 12. The Sons of Katie Elder, 1965. Four brothers return home for their mother's funeral and uncover a web of lies, theft, and murder surrounding their father's death. John Wayne leads the pack, with Dean Martin by his side, as the elder boys seek to reclaim their family's honor and their stolen birthright. Tensions flare, fists fly, and bullets finally speak at a gun-blazing riverbed showdown. This isn't just a revenge tale. It's about blood, legacy, and the price of silence. When these brothers saddle up, they ride for more than justice. They ride for the woman who raised them and the name she gave them. 13. How the West Was Won, 1962. This isn't one story, it's 5. A sweeping, epic saga told across decades. How the West Was Won follows one family through America's wild expansion. Rivers, railroads, gold rushes, and Civil War. With an all-star cast, James Stewart, Henry Fonda, Debbie Reynolds, it's a cinematic colossus. The Buffalo Stampede, thunderous. The train heist, daring. The Civil War battle, devastating. Shot in majestic cinerama, the scale is overwhelming, yet intimate moments still strike deep. It's not just a Western, it's American myth, told on a giant canvas. If one film defines the West in cinematic glory, it's this one. 14. Major Dundee, 1965. Charlton Heston plays Major Amos Dundee, a disgraced Union officer with one last chance at redemption. His mission? Hunt down Apache raiders deep in Mexico with a ragtag army of Confederate prisoners, outlaws, and misfits. What follows is a brutal, chaotic march across enemy lines and moral lines. Sam Peckinpah's vision is raw, unfiltered, and seething with conflict, both external and internal. A canyon filled with sun-bleached bones, a fiery river crossing, a final, furious clash with French cavalry. This isn't a story of triumph. It's about the high cost of duty, pride, and fractured leadership on a savage frontier. 15. Ride the High Country, 1962. Two aging lawmen, one holding on to honor, the other chasing a last big payday, take on a job guarding gold through treacherous mountain country, but greed, betrayal, and old regrets threaten to derail them. Randolph Scott and Joel McCrea deliver haunting performances as former friends on opposite sides of the moral line. The film builds quietly, but by the end, it roars with emotional force. The final scene, one man dying on his feet, gun in hand, proud and unbroken, is pure cinematic poetry. Director Sam Peckinpah's debut proved the Western still had soul, and death could be beautiful. Which Western are you going to watch now? And if you love Westerns as much as we do, drop a comment below with your favorite. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and ring the bell for more content on the best in film history.